One sad little hammer on... Can I have that? Hammer. Nails beware. Rifle with the hammer? Simple hammer. 1 constitution. Advantage in situations where you might need a hammer. Well. Is it like a weapon slot or a trinket slot? It is a weapon slot. Alright. Could be helpful in a manly pinch. Not good for a fight, though. So I have some advantages to some upcoming hammer situations. And also 1 more constitution, which means I even have more of my good stat. In addition to intentionally reducing my bad stats, because I think it's funny, even though it really set me back here. You're welcome. Now we can do the fuck. I have to say, with all due respect, well done. Right, the dwarves. Conflict completed. Ah. Oh, yes, I saw the whole thing. The whole thing? So that's how you handle them, by resolving it with a few kind words. Won't say that's not impressive on its own, human. She's actually quite annoyed that you didn't solve it with more force. Alphonse wasn't as right to be here. She laughs. I've yet to be convinced. One day you'll understand. Her smile fades. We will see about that. Good day, Cleric. You did the right thing. Confrontation feels bad. Now it's just you, alone in the circle square. There's just a little devil reading the newspaper. We're just gonna navigate very, very slowly, and every inch that I cover through the map, we're gonna see another fascinating, strange outcome. Oh, take root? What? A dozen dwarves and an orc walk into a tavern. The orc turns to the tavern keep and says, "Hey, give me a large one." The tavern keeper says, "Please don't turn this into a joke. These are real people you're talking about." What's going on here? Let me continue. So, the dwarves go... The dwarves have struggled as a minority for decades. They deserve respect, nothing less. No, really, what's going on? You're divided, but a truth will be achieved. Is this their version of the thought cabinet? Each quest is an individual thing that affects you as a person in like a direct way? That's really interesting, actually. Whatever. Look, the gist of the story is the orc is hard at work improving this shitty little city. The dwarves are annoying and stupid. Got it? You believe for a second the orc wants to improve the city? No. You've seen too much to ever believe such a lie. I wonder if I increase the stat that I vote for or something? Kind of an obvious one here. The dwarves are Asgulus. That means they like poor people, thus making them the good guys. This is some kind of debate, eh? Kind way of putting it. The revolutionary free strider will bring freedom, democracy, and riches to Norvik. Last part being the most poignant. Let us focus on each of those points, one at a time. Oh, come on. Freedom. Free Strider rule would entail joining the Free City Alliance. Local politics will be focused entirely upon serving the core cities in Reeds and the interest of the trade company. Democracy While it is true that they initiated the move towards universal suffrage, the Free Striders are known for both ruthlessly pushing propaganda to vulnerable folk, as well as simply buying votes. This is fact. Ridiculous. Riches. The claim that Free Striderism would somehow enrich the folk of Norvik is actually ridiculous. What kind of riches are being distributed to the lower class of the city, with the already Free Strider-owned factories? This is silly. Without Free Striders, you'd probably be a farmer. Who the fuck wants to be a farmer? Even the losing party as well is just amusingly written. Farming is good, healthy work. Healthy. Don't change the subject. This is fascinating. Wow, what a cool iteration on the concept to have the stats argue with each other and also have the stats be based on different ideologies and political leanings within the actual universe on top of that. That makes this kind of fascinating. Wisdom's winning the argument, but that's probably because, there's like skill checks involved. So like it's seemingly Wisdom is winning the argument because I leveled up Wisdom a bunch in the first place. So Dexterity would have better arguments at least, even if I wouldn't agree with them, if I actually had points in Dexterity. But he just kind of sounds like a jackass here because Wisdom has 10 more points than Dexterity does, which is a little unfair. Do you two never shut up? Not really. I feel like I should make a decision here. Yes, you must retain the spirit of the Asgalian Revolution. After completing a quest branch, you can allow it to take root in your mind. When doing this, you must make a choice between available feats. They're feats, not stats. I thought I was going to be able to level up the one that I like more or something. Take a deep breath and stand up against the ever-growing wave of capitalism. You should choose Asgalian spirit and speech. With this feat, you restore 1 hit point every hour that passes. Wow. That allows me to suffer a lot without dying. Granted, I think it's only been like an hour or two so far. So, greed ain't so bad. To be able to unlock a better life for yourself? Who wouldn't want that? You should choose Money Talks. With this feat, you gain 50% more crowns on pickup. That's a lot of crowns, admittedly. But Asgalian spirit and speech is like where I am. You've chosen well. True harmony comes from being in tune with your fellow folk. The Dwarven way is the good way, the egalitarian way. Feel like you've resolved some conflict in the world. So I resolved a conflict in the world, and then resolved a conflict in myself. And it also gives me a massive quest experience bonus. So this is how you get experience from quests, as you often do in games. In this case, it takes the form of you resolving an inner conflict, and you learning more about yourself gives you more perspective, I guess, and then increases your abilities. That's a really interesting way of internalizing it all compared to other games. Now I've leveled. Ooh, so that was 300 experience to get there. Next one's going to be 900 experience. Interesting. Level advancement. It looks like the meter is staying like a third full because, how do I put it? In a lot of games, your meter empties every time you level up, and then you need this much experience to hit the next level. It says 0 out of whatever each time. In D&D, you have a running experience total that never goes down, that minus whatever caveats there might be there. You just level up when you hit certain experience thresholds from a continuing, how do I put it? I mean, most of you already know, honestly. But yeah, like in video games, it's like get 300 experience to level, and then you cash in that level, and then your spillover experience starts from 0 again, and you try to get to a higher number this time. But yeah, in D&D, you just have a series of increasingly higher numbers, and you just kind of keep making your number go up, but you never reset it each time. So they're doing that, but they're combining that with the visual of an experience meter, which means that every time I level up, it'll always look like I'm kind of a fair bit along the way to the next level, because the previous levels experience is still counted there, because I'm still using 1 running total for what my total experience is so far in the playthrough. So that's kind of interesting to see. Pretty big spike. First level costs 300, next level costs, I think it was 950. Oh god. So it's going to take a bit longer now, but now we know that doing quests is a pretty big spike. I'm proficient in wisdom and strength. Level 2 reached. Ability score +1, hit points +5, +2. Does that mean I gained 7 or 5? I don't know if the +2 is before, is after. If it's normally +5, then I add 2 to that to get 7, or if it's normally +3 and the +5 is including the +2. I guess we'll see when I get out of the screen. Hit die +1. First and second level spell slots +1. So now I can use my second level spell. So that's important. I have the ability to level something even more. I'll just go even further into wisdom. Just become comically proficient at this. It's always a little bit of a weird system in these games, is that you like you get a bonus to your dice rolls, but only every other number. So I always find myself leveling the same skill twice in a row, basically. My goal is always to try to like get to the next even number and move in those iterations, which is why every number ends up sitting on an even slot. Having the ability to get items that give you +1 to something modifies that a little bit, because he's like, oh well, if I get to an odd number, then I can then reach the rest of the way there. If I get my if I just put an item on that gives you a bonus to that particular thing. I wonder how much you can embrace your feminine side specifically. I'm curious about how that plays out. It's the only choice I do here, right? Oh, it's 900, not 950. So there's a second level spell slot down there. They're gonna build them up vertically? I wonder how high the spell slot levels get. Huh. Trying to remember the briefing that happened at the beginning of the game. Did they say that I was going to level up to level 6 and that's it or something? Or did they say that I was going to play for like 5 or 6 sessions? I'm not sure what I remember the briefing at the beginning of the game saying or not. Level 2 Cleric, level 3 Asgalus. I haven't had the opportunity to really say any of the other ones so much, I think. Hasn't been super clear. And there it is, it becomes a feat. So your questing tree is your feat tree, and the symbols here potentially indicate something about the quest you might even be potentially getting. Interesting. Or go feat. You can add it, but only after resting. Okay. So this is more or less the thought cabinet, which also was something you kind of got from quests. But it's a really elegant and interesting way of presenting that idea. It still has a lot to do with Disco Elysium's style, but it's doing something a little different in the process too, which is fun to see. Wild to see it play out. So there's like, it does an incredible job at incentivizing you to check out various quests, knowing that stuff like that happens. Is this the entire city? This could be the entire map of the game, which would also be a little Disco Elysium scaled for how much space there was. There's a weird broken pillar here. That floating pieces, which is also on the start screen. So I'm here in Viskin's lair. I walked up here a little bit into Tolstad East. Down here in the south appears to be where the goblin would be. Then we have west and north. So this is north, as was said before. So that's where I'm from. It could be a relatively small zone overall. How my stats comparing, I wonder. My esoterics, folk, geography, history, language. So big emphasis on charisma for language. Politics. Religion. We have a bunch of strength ones, one dexterity thing, just one dexterity thing for a political party, which they kind of all got for free. So I might have a massive dearth of missing codex entries for dexterity as a result then. Constitution only has 2, and Constitution is one of my high stats. Intelligence. Wisdom! Charisma! Interesting. They almost match up with which stats are high and which stats are low, but Constitution is low despite me having a lot of it. Goblin wall art. It's a dragon. A green face is splattered across the facade, staring wildly towards a flaming sky and the dragon spread across it. Or something like that. Can you call this art? Yeah? Obviously? What the fuck are you talking about? Place your hand upon the wall. You take a step forward. The painted stone surface is smooth. Truly ancient. You feel an esoteric urge to communicate with this object. Tell me your secrets. Your focus falters. There's nothing to answer you. But something is here, beyond the hard stone. Try again tomorrow, perhaps. What does it mean? They believe in their dragon queen. Such worship should be encouraged, if only it was for the earth instead. It represents a devotion, albeit in an asinine way. The fire is in the soul, a boundary between the real and the heartful. What does this tell me about the state of Norvik? Nothing, really. Our goblin? That goblins are artists? All of folk seek a belief. They have simply made one out of this supposed dragon lady. They should worship Earth instead. There we go. Back to insanity. It just goes back to this check again. Which I don't have a great chance of succeeding at. I have to roll like a 14. Oh, worse, because I have a -1. Not the great chances overall. There is a strange little demon hanging out here, so that's happening. And this conspicuous spot? What's this? A tree rising far above. A show of nature's true force. You look up at the branches of a bracken tree. It stands tall in the garden, towering over you. It is majestic. Nature is reaching tall and deep. These roots go below the city, nay, even below the river. Touch the tree. Your hand lands firmly on the bark. Good tree. Strong tree. Connecting with the natural world. Well done. Look up at the branches above. The wind causes the leaves to dance. Wait. Between the branches, high above. Is that a hole in the bark? A hollow, just wide enough for you to stick your hand inside. Something glimmers up there. Treasure in a bird's nest. You have a feeling this could end really badly? Then again, risk and reward, right? It could cause great physical harm if you fell from that height, and heights are scary. The branches shudder in a sudden gust. Climb the tree! You grab onto the trunk. Pressing your entire body against the rough bark, you slowly make your way upwards. Uh-oh. Dexterity rolls. No, 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 get down! Reach the top. Wrapping your body around the trunk, you lift yourself up. The bark is rough enough for you to get a pretty firm grip, despite the vertical nature of this feat you're attempting. One foot and hand movement after another, each holding on for dear life. You take a deep breath and reach up towards the upper branches. That's when you realize you're nowhere close to where you thought you were. Hold on now. Grabbing onto air is not a good idea, as you fumble about. Suddenly the world drops around you. Your feet slip from the bark. Your soul falling into hell. An instant later, you hit the ground. Something cracks, sending shooting pain up your leg and arm. Ow. Okay, so I got 7 hit points. So having a bunch of constitution means that I actually get a lot of health overall. Because it was +5 and +2, which took me to 17, -1 because I still am exhausted, which took me down to 16. The tree towers over you, taunting you. Shake it off. You've had worse. Right? Leaves are quite big. What's a bracken tree again? Don't know. Something to do with thickness? To do. Oh, something do with the thickness. Oh my god, charisma is fucking correcting intelligence's grammar because intelligence is this far gone. This is insane interactions to program into your game. Huh? What does the purple fool want now? Never mind. Like a birch but thicker, made by primal forces of Ascani. One of the 3 pillars of magic, primal. It is represented in the natural, wild, savage, and elemental forces of yore. They cannot be controlled, only bargained with. Bye, tree. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Also, ow. I'll be back, tree, tomorrow. I assume that I can try that again. But I need to, like, get goodlier at it doing so. / try again tomorrow. Oops. Yes, the thing for reaching the top can be tried again, but it's made harder by me being exhausted, and also nothing else is going to work here. Yeah. I can try again on a future day. There appears to be a goblin staring at me. Maybe. Guarding the entrance to the place that I am trying to probably get to, which is everywhere. Braxo, pencil wing. Devil, level 2 scribe. Surprisingly content, hard worker. Has a nested interest in the current regime. Devils used to be allowed into the city only on work visas, so he could have served for several decades. There's a DC 24? There's a lot to learn about this guy that I didn't learn. Little drink real quick. Seem to have a really high voice. You raise your head towards the sky. Above you sits a tiny red creature. His wings flutter faintly in the wind. He's just a little guy. With wings, reading his little newspaper. An evil creature, beware. I keep forgetting to actually look at people's alignments. I only remember that one lady was lawful evil and no one else. I remember no one else's alignments. I might not have even revealed them all so far. Staring at a piece of paper, he does not acknowledge your presence. What you reading? A sigh escapes the fiend's maw. He slowly puts down the paper. Hey, I healed. Oh, because it's 13. So the time just healed me. That's neat. I'm going to be more aware of how much time passes now because of the healing ping me every now and then. The paper is actually a torn out page from a magazine.
I like the funny pictures.
I believe the fiend is being sarcastic. I like the pictures too.
Yeah, imagine you would.
He's mocking you.
Wait,
He says, leaning in to get a good look at you.
Earthguard? A cleric? Hell's you doing here?
That reaction. Your presence is uncommon. This little man looks sunburnt. Thanks, brain. Divine mission, the usual.
Very well. I won't get in your way. I, for one, am very happy for your presence. This place has gone downhill since the city let goblins and free straders run amok. Oh no, the devil's a kiss-ass. We need some damn order in this place.
Wise words.
So, if you need any legal advice, just let me know.
He gives you a tiny, sharp smirk. You should be aware of the fact this is literally a devil. A good little devil. You can hear out any advice, just don't listen to it blindly. That's impossible. No one can listen whilst blind. What's wrong with you? Can you give me free legal advice?
Oh yes, I'll gladly assist a member of the Earthguard. Any day. Just ask.
Should I invest in stocks?
Oh.
Oh.
I do not give nor have ever given investment advice. But,
Yes? He looks you up and down.
I should ask, have you ever bought shares before, Cleric?
Uh-oh. God fucking damn it, this game is insane. God damn it. I don't know what that is.
Okay, some basics then. Popularized by late Divine Era human adventurer companies, a share is essentially a percentage of ownership of a certain venture.
Divine Era, the third out of 5 eras, when the first gods were born out of mortal folk, and power began to entirely fall into their wonderful and fragile hands.
Could be a guild, could be a company, or a specific adventure. Something that is supposed to grow over time, so you can increase the value of your securities in that venture. It's a risky way to increase your capital without actually doing any real work. God, this devil's good. Learn from him!
Oh no. Charisma, stop. Why is it risky? It sounds like free money.
Good question. Imagine you invest in an adventuring party. They head into the Verdun Hills to dive into some Gate-era tomb or an esoteric area filled with talking cats. Something weird and dangerous, but with potential for a lot of cool treasure to be found and brought back. There is a major chance that those adventurers die out on their journey. If they do, you lose all the money invested. They could make it back, in which case you'd get a percentage of the treasure based on your share, but how often do adventurers come back with a bunch of treasures these days?
So, should I buy stocks?
Look, there are rules in place. Norvik has laws governing what one can and cannot suggest when it comes to financial agency. Your god made those laws to protect people of lower than average intelligence from being tricked by those with ill intent.
Where can I buy stocks?
You can buy shares directly from a venture trader. Basically, someone can give you a piece of paper that says I owe you with a bunch of legal information on it. Or you can go to Trade Hub. I don't think the Tulsa Exchange is open until after the election, though.
Have you ever bought stocks?
Sure, I spend about 40% of my income on risky ventures. Sometimes I even get paid in securities, which is nice, since I won't have to pay any middlemen.
Could people buy stocks in me? The little red devil stares at you.
If you were to set yourself up as a venture, then maybe? I mean, if you could convince someone to invest in you, you know, without breaking any laws regarding investment advice, I'd be impressed, so why not?
What about currency trading? There's something I've heard about too. It's a bad basis for the conversation.
Oh, well, that's just the art of switching between various currencies. Say you've got a pouch full of old embers. That is, the old draconic coins. They're made of gold, so even though there are no governments these days who support it, you could always just sell them for the gold value. Great, that's the most basic form of it. But when it comes to the city-backed currencies, it gets more complicated. If you get 10 Brimarks, and let's say you want to convert them into Reedsian 10s, how many do you get?
I don't know.
Me neither. The value of each currency fluctuates day to day, as does the exchange rate to each other currency. Not to mention the location as well. 10s are powerful because of the far reach of the Free Strider trading charters. Brimarks are near useless in Norvik, so the exchange rate, while still not nothing, is quite low. That makes Blood City corporations way less interested in investing here, which then perpetuates the weak value of the currency. Sigs of Old Diminor are used in some places, sure, but bring them out in Norvik and any shopkeeper will laugh at you, holding out those shiny little crystal discs.
Old Diminor, a term for Diminor, often used to refer to the band before it was renamed Reeds during the end of the Coast War capitulation agreements. Some say it with sarcasm, some say it with pride, some say it with fear. While the penning is accepted automatically, almost as if it's a slightly less valuable crown. So then, the soul is, on the other hand, extremely valuable, just because of the Golden Horde's influence. And the Ilium Janbala, those weird little ice cubes, well, I'm guessing you've never seen one and never will. Take one to an exchange station and they will quite literally think you're messing with them. But, yeah. That's some info for you. He has been long-winded. Nice rant about coinage. He nods and grins. Economy, you know? Messy and fun. Thinking about all the furry comics I've read where somebody is just like looking across at somebody just neurodivergently just info dumping on them, and they're just like, oh my god, he's so hot. And they're just like not thinking about what they're saying. That's all I have to ask about stocks. That was a fun tangent for us. What about alignment? Ah, yes, the overrules of morality. Novrek does not moralize over alignment, officially, nor do most of the city-states across the coast. And you, being a devil, are, you know, yes, you're evil. Oh yes, indeed. It is pretty easy to spot. He flaps his wings. It could be pretty discriminatory at times. People assume I have their worst interest in mind just because I'm ontologically evil. Uh-huh? You don't have their worst interest in mind? Look, evil's not some objective thing. It's entirely internal and aligned with yours subjective opinion. There are good people who ruin the world and evil folk who do their best to maintain it. That's the deal. I want to elaborate on that. There's no follow-up there? What? That's the most that's way more interesting of a conversation to unpack what he means by that. Definitely the idea that it's easy to imagine examples of both on some level, but it's like a wild thing to unpack. Yeah. Are you a barrister? A tiny barrister? No, I have no legal position within the city. I'm just fairly knowledgeable in the magistrate's code. He shows you a foul grin. So what type of work do you do? If you love what you do, you will never work a day in your life, he says, and smirks. So what do you do? Me? I do scribe at most days. Got some connections within the palace, and believe me, phew, that's gotten me through some tough times. See, whenever some rich asshole needs a legal draft in a hurry, who do they send for? The guy with the wings, that's who. Awfully drab. Always on call, huh? For sure, but I get around quick. The idea that the person that you want to run your bureaucracy is just ontologically evil is probably on brand, honestly. What do you do in your spare time? Calligraphy. He likes drawing. How quaint. A true man knows the value of lettering. Oh, and I do love me some reading. Gaining access to the Darrowian Library changed my life. Darrowian Library, the largest public library in Norvik. You spent many years in your youth inside the stony walls. What's it like being a little red guy? You want an honest answer or the one I tell my clients? Whichever is shortest. Honest. Okay, let me put it like this. Bloodlust. It fucking sucks donkey shit. Do you know what it takes to get a promotion these days? Is it expensive? Ooh, I wish. We're talking decades of servitude to some sadistic fuck who wants to return to Gargorian's greatness or some shit like that. And then, after risking your life and humiliating yourself, there's a chance this fucking guy will just put in the effort of... There's a chance this fucking guy will put in the effort to promoting you. And if you're unlucky, you'll turn into a freaking bug. Or worse, something without wings. We love some swearing. We love some swearing devils in this game. Tell me about these promotions. Sorry. Forgot not everyone knows how devil can work. Let me put it like this. Devils have a ranking system. Some are lower, and some are higher. Only way to get higher and metamorphose into a more powerful creature is to be promoted by someone with a higher rank. But hey, could be worse, he says and cackles. Could be a demon. Oh, fuck, I forgot those are different. Oh, it's confusing. Right. What are you voting in the upcoming election so I can judge that faction? What am I voting for? Same as you, little guy says with a laugh. The good guys. You're a hardcore Asgalist? What? He looks genuinely shocked. You're kidding. He examines you for a moment. An Asgalist city cleric, huh? Well, I've seen stranger things. Anyway, you want something else? He expected I was going to vote for the red faction, I assume. I'm done. I've asked everything I want to. He throws up his little arms in the air. It's over? By the gods. So dramatic. Love the little guy. We're not done at all. I was just done with that particular question, apparently. Damn. What does the law have to say on resurrections? That's one hell of a question. He smirks for a while. The imp's enjoying his pun before moving on. What is sociopath? Higher tier resurrections aren't illegal. They're just not available anymore. Not available? Figured a cleric would know better than me, but... he says and shrugs. Spells over 4th or 5th are rarely seen these days. If you want to know why, go pray. Your god grants you magic. In his wisdom, he only grants higher power when needed. In your lifetime, it has not been needed a lot. After Earth died, it's been a bit hard for even the top-ranking clerics to manage higher tier magic. At least, if you believe the rumors of the towers, which you should. What about low-level resurrections? There's Revivify. That's it. High-ranking officials love having clerics around for this one spell. Bunch of pussies. Does a murder still count if the victim is resurrected? You think it's about the question for a bit?
There's been cases. Heard of a man stabbed in a bar fight? Bled out just in time for a drunk cleric to revive. Cast Revivify and the bloke lived. The stabber ended up being charged with a major transgression for personal well-being. And that's not murder per se, but I'd argue it had more to do with the fellow's barrister making it clear to the judiciaries that there was no killing intent. So, not an accident, but not a murder, just a brawl gone too far, but that'd be a hard sell if the victim wasn't breathing. A complex scenario, something clerics often have to contend with. But in most cases, I'd say yes. So, don't go around murdering folk and revivifying them, cleric. Would be kind of funny, but, you know, don't. Are you legally considered alive after a resurrection? Yes, for all intents and purposes, you are alive. Undeath, on the other hand, would be a very different affliction. And how is that defined? As long as the necromancy is considered of divine origin and the soul is returned to a healthy body, then it is considered as a normal resurrection. If the origin is more black magic shit, as they say, or some kind of corpse animation, then it would be considered as bodily sacrilege. And that's a top-tier criminal offense. How top is it? Oh, it's up there. Does death absolve your crimes? Now you're asking real questions. But no, it does not. There's been actual laws signed in old kingdoms over this shit. He leans in, looking excited. Oh, he's dancing for you. Keep it up, and he'll love you to death. So, classic story. All right. A real bad guy is caught murdering his neighbor. Real sick shit. He's executed after a quick trial. Justice wins again. Everyone's happy. But, surprise, some holy man raises him a couple of months later. Death and rebirth. Holy man, or foul necromancer. In this situation, the bad guy did technically pay for his crimes. His life was taken by the state. Just because somebody gave it back to him doesn't change that fact, right? Well, people weren't too happy with that, as you can imagine. Thus, the common legal term these days for capital punishment is DIP. Death in perpetuity. Stands for death in perpetuity. Kind of funny when you think about it. They're talking about the fucking legal system of a setting where you can fucking get resurrected. Oh my god. This is so interesting to actually have them unpack in universe. Makes total sense. It does. The city of Norvik might be a bit of a bureaucratic mess at times, but believe me, the lawkeepers know their shit. So to keep criminals DIP'd, most states tend to hide, lock up, or simply burn corpses and spread the ashes using non-resurrectable methods. So, a properly DIP'd dead guy shouldn't be able to return without the use of some miraculous 9th level spell, which obviously, these days, isn't too likely. That's all I wanted to ask about resurrections. Anything else? There's so much to unpack here. I need to take a break though for dinner, so I'm going to take a moment here and we'll unpack more of what's going on with Braxo in a minute. Whew. I can't save mid-conversation though, citizen. I can leave mid-conversation though. I wasn't sure if I would get stopped or not.
Legalese. I'm having a great time with this game. Oh my goodness. It's just so pleasantly written. It flows so nicely. All the different little systems are just very engaging, goofy little things. It's good to be back. I wonder how this would compare to Disco Elysium, just because it's been like 7 years since I played that game, so it's not fresh exactly, but it was really cool. I definitely remember it being more dense at times. There were some conversations where you get really deep into it. I'm like, ooh, this is really interesting. And some conversations where I'm like, I'm reading this, but I'm not totally sure what I'm getting out of some of it. I get a little bit of that this time in this game, but that's only when they do codex dumps on me. Oh, the actual dialogue is fantastic. There's just like, the way that the codex entries are integrated is interesting, but the way that they're written or the type of lore they convey is often not the kind of stuff that sticks to me at all. That's its own thing to unpack. Whew. All right. See you next episode with more devil talk.